Welcome to a deep dive into a topic that often goes unspoken, the humiliating reality of Philippine women. In this video, we will uncover the challenges and adversities faced by women in the Philippines, shedding light on issues that are rarely discussed openly. Before we get started, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. If you find this content insightful, please leave a comment below and share it with your friends to spread awareness. Women are perpetually burdened by the battle to overcome the impunity imposed upon them by violence against them, having been duped into believing that their lives are free of hardship and have pleasant, fairy tale-like endings. Violence against women, VAW, is not limited to the mistreatment that women endure. Rather, it is an obvious manifestation of the power disparity that exists between men and women. It serves as a vehicle through which the patriarchy violates the rights and liberties of women by abusing them physically, sexually, or psychologically. Women are fighting a war against violence against them that puts them in risk and places them on the front lines of a worldwide conflict. The number of recorded cases of crimes against women has significantly increased in the previous few years in the Philippines alone. In spite of the existence of multiple laws and policies aimed at safeguarding women's rights, Filipino women are still subjected to oppression not only from those who abuse them, but also from an insufficient legal system that has fallen short of fulfilling its commitment to achieving genuine gender equality. The realities. Because of the country's pervasive system of gender-based oppression, women are now easily exploited as commodities, prostitutes, and objects of desire. The Philippines has a long history of being a major hub for prostitution and human trafficking. According to a United Nations Office of Drug and Crime report, the Philippines has a high rate of people trafficking. Stories of women from beer houses and brothels sometimes involve human trafficking, one of the most profitable industries in the nation. According to statistical sources, there are between 600,000 and 800,000 women who are involved in prostitution in the nation. The majority of these ladies are from the provinces. Some are tricked and taken advantage of. In an attempt to escape their destitute lives, girls rush to take advantage of the opportunity presented by illegal recruiters who promise them stable job in the metropolis. When they eventually did show up, though, things took a bad turn when they realized the jobs being offered were for sex workers rather than servers or domestic helpers. Women are compelled to sell their bodies for a lifetime if they have no one to support them. Some may have been duped by false promises, but others have consciously chosen prostitution as their career because they are desperate to survive the difficult living conditions in the nation. With internet prostitution increasing, the internet has currently turned into just another tool for achieving goals. Ironically, the government, which opposes the prostitute industry, is not making any headway, even in spite of technical improvements that have helped the sector. The nation's prostitute industry persists, despite laws banning it and condemnation of the industry as a horrible crime, which exposes the government's ineffectiveness in combating it. It is typical for the more dramatic and lurid features of the cases to receive most of the attention when discussing prostitution. Unresolved and often ignored are the underlying causes of prostitution, which include a lack of employment security and possibilities. As a result, the industry continues to be vibrant, wealthy, and successful at the expense of mistreated and victimized women. Ultimately, the government has shown itself incapable of implementing policies that support women because of its deeply rooted sexist inclinations, its unfair obsession with making money from profitable industries, and its general incapacity to take care of its citizens. The dangers of violence against women and girls extend beyond the confines of prostitution, which upholds the social inferiority of women, and even into digital and virtual realms. Catcalling and slut-shaming incidents have increased in the last few years, but while their frequency is more noticeable online, they are just as common offline. The case of student Ann Nicole Castro, who was the victim of online sexual harassment after a picture of her objecting to the late dictator and former President Ferdinand Marcos's burial at the Heroes Cemetery, went viral on social media, highlights the seriousness of these acts of objectification. The main worry about these problems is that they will only serve to reinforce the culture of sexism. as contemporary society begins to resemble the primitive societies of the past and takes great pleasure in oppressing women who exhibit any kind of power. Not only are slut-shaming and catcalling personal insults, but they also function as a sort of discipline for women who defy the expectations of their traditional and submissive gender roles. These acts of objectification, which go beyond simple verbal and emotional abuse, reinforce the stereotype that women are inferior and the unfair expectations that are placed upon them. It is based on the twisted idea that men alone should be in positions of dominance and that men are inherently superior to women. Even on their own, these facts strengthen the case for ending women's subjugation. Given the diversity of platforms on which VAW happens, more concrete solutions are required to solve these kinds of problems. The betrayed. In addition to the countless stories of oppression that surround women's life in the modern world, laws that support the sexist and gender inequitable culture continue to be ineffectual. Domestic violence is considered to be one of the most abusive types of violence against women among the numerous forms of VAW. Domestic violence is defined by the Philippine Commission on Women as any physical, sexual, emotional, or financial abuse of a woman or her child that typically takes place in the house or inside the family. Domestic violence involves a woman's spouse or partner as the typical perpetrator and harms women in various ways. But passing legislation by itself will never be sufficient to safeguard women's rights and lives. Women's rights will always be somewhat unprotected by laws and bills, because long as there are those who violate them, such rights will not be completely ensured. As long as societal institutions that profit from the ongoing power disparity in society continue to ignore and violate women's fundamental rights and dignity, they will never be able to really live free. When a system of abuse and oppression is still in place, a society cannot be completely free from violence and discrimination. Only when the government stops providing band-aid fixes and addresses these issues as merely the result of the broader systemic defect will the war against VAW come to an end. The only way to end misogyny, prostitution, and human trafficking is to change society's tolerance for inequality. The fight for equality must extend beyond government legislation and regulations that tighten the screws on women, nor should it stop with Filipino women speaking up more forcefully for change. Only when one is no longer advantaged by the suffering of another, and the oppressed is still fighting against its oppressors, will true equality be attained. If you found this video informative, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and click the notification bell to stay updated with our latest content. We'd love to hear your thoughts, so leave a comment below and share this video with your friends. Together we can make a difference and support the empowerment of women everywhere. Until next time, stay informed and compassionate.